All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we're continuing the AI sector review, looking at Guard Force and Bullfrog. Look, last week's video, I said that these two were kind of starting to separate themselves from the other ones. I really think that's still showing the case, right? Because man, yesterday was a nasty, nasty day. And look, today was obviously not great. No one wants to eat 15% losers in a day, right? But we definitely held over. I mean, there's some good things that I'm going to talk about in a moment, right? But I don't know if you saw the last video or not, but AI and NVIDIA, which I consider better than these two, right? I think they're in a better tier, are not looking great. So it's important to just know what the big boys look at if if you're playing some of these smaller dogs, right? Or big girls and smaller girl dogs. But nonetheless, we're going to get into all the details shortly, but real quick, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how this thing is setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like this video, share it on social media anywhere, comment on this thing, and subscribe. Anything you can do really does well with the YouTube algorithms, but hey, nonetheless, just being here and giving me your time is beyond appreciated, all right? So look, let's get into it, okay? And look, I think one of the big things to just do is find patterns where we can, right? And this is now kind of I guess the second time really, but we see a big pop, drop, drop, big pop, not really drop, drop, but then the pop, right? So I don't know if that means we're going to see a drop, drop before another pop, right? And again, all I'm here to do is just kind of guess, right? It helps me like anticipate. I won't be as surprised if it goes down, but nonetheless, we'll see what we need to do for it to go up, right? All this time, everything that's happening, this 8 moving average is still going up. This 20 moving average is still going up. The 50, if you can see it, is actually still going up. We've pretty much just done a double golden cross. We had the 20 break the 200 and the 50 break the 200. And I'm not quite sure. It looks like the 50 is still over the 20, but I think the 20 is about to golden cross the 50. Like all of those are really, really good things that are happening, all right? Because end of the day, my horizontal lines are these stagnant supports, right? We want these moving averages to go up and like catch it as it's moving. You get what I'm saying? So I'm happy that lines are going up. Not really happy with the RSI right here. I'll be real honest with you. 70, look, this bad boy has already hit a 91, all right? So it's seen some interesting movements. And let's be honest, it's still, like, how do I say this? The run hasn't been crazy yet. Obviously, it went from 5 to 21. It literally came back to 5. It's now back to 21. The question's really going to be, like, if it's going to come down, where are you coming down to? Are you coming to only the top? Or are you going to come to like halfway of it, right? Because this first one was clearly no bueno, right? Goes back, goes literally lower than it started. That's not good. But quickly it was like, hey, I think that was just a bad scare, okay? Now we catch ourselves at halfway, which is cool, right? We didn't go all the way down like we did. It's kind of saying this is a little stronger. Now we're here. My question is going to be, can we catch ourselves at 21 and go up? Give or take, right? The 8 should get there over the next couple days. I don't know the math behind these lines, right? But it looks like it's still going up. Maybe Friday, maybe Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, it'll get around here, right? So hopefully this is where it comes down to and then goes. Because one more time, I'm going to just kind of, because I don't know if I said it well. We went from down to up to down to up to middle to up. For me, that's good. It is. It actually is. One, it shows like these moving averages are actually real. We bounced on a few. We actually bounced on the 8. It shows that it wasn't some like, this thing is just unsustainable. That's no bueno, right? And when you can recover it really quickly, that's great. And when you don't fall as much, that's great. I feel like I spent too many minutes saying the same thing, but hopefully you caught that, okay? And if I didn't, you can make fun of me in the comments, I swear. But end of the day, look, you definitely need to have a solid risk tolerance for this thing because I'll show it to you on the weekly when we go. The game that we're playing right now is over all the moving averages on the weekly, trying to recover a lot of it, right? And again, I keep saying don't have $100 dreams when we're at, 26. But last week I was saying it when it was down here, right? We're now a quarter of the way there. We're sitting in another red, 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 red. There's a lot of reason to believe at least 70 might be in the horizon, right? Again, this is a weekly chart. But yeah, there's reason to believe if Friday doesn't do something stupid and bring us too far down, that's a sexy red, 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 red behind a green, 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 green. There are minimal resistances there, Maybe that's the plateau, and give or take, that's kind of what we're sitting at right now. But yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of beautiful recovery in this channel if we can actually hold it and keep going in it. You know what I mean? And look, that's still a pretty good RSI, MACD, and volume, right? Volume didn't take a horrible, horrible deuce, right? It held. I generally say if you're going to lose a little bit, just kind of like lose a little bit, right? Don't come to 50%, right? But we were at, what is this, 72? We went to 25. We gave up about 25. I get mad when we give up a third or more. So, and we still have tomorrow. We're going to get at least a couple more shares tomorrow, right? Even if they're sells, like this thing will still go up, and volume week over week is nice. I'm cool with that, So, yeah, overall, I think a lot has to do with the 21 and the 8 one more time. You know what I mean? We can definitely bounce on this 8 a few times before we lose it, and we have to use the 20. You know what I mean? And hopefully, again, the 20 is just keeps coming up and up. So, yeah, more of a be careful, just know your risk tolerances. And I would be very worried if 21 loses and then just see where the 8 is at compared to that. But I think 21 is probably going to be my worry point, okay? BFRG. Okay, bullfrog. Ah, man. So what did it look like, right? It basically looked like we were going to smash, and we did, right? We smashed the IPO open, all right? I normally do not put resistance lines on the filled in candles. The filled in green is not as good as the highlighted green, because again, this one opens here. It opens at 680 and goes all the way down to 6. Someone lost like a little more than 10% right there, right? Like that's not a beautiful day. Something like this, it opens down here and just kept going up all the way. So you can clearly see the differences, right? And yeah, I was just hoping for confirmation and go. Clearly we don't. Look, a couple good things. Sorry to zoom in and out so much, but we do hold 50% candle. I think that's roughly what this 530 line actually is. This is almost the doji. It's not quite textbook, but pretty good wick up, pretty good wick down, and not a wildly big body, especially compared to the wicks, right? So I think a lot of it is going to be tomorrow should be very telling of the truth. Honestly, I'm a little worried that AI and NVIDIA aren't doing well because, again, you want the big boys to do well and the big girls to do well so that these little guys and little girls do well as well, right? Like they all should go together. That's why I do these sector reviews actually. And it's again, just it's a lot of it is volume, right? Like we do have this like sloped up going. And again, we haven't been trading for 50 days, so I don't know what the 50 average volume is, but yeah, I mean, we were good volume working it, and there were moments where we actually almost broke this line. We actually did break this line as well. And again, I really wouldn't put a line here, right? Maybe the open up here is probably worth the line. I guess I'll put the 680 line just to put it. I will. I for sure wouldn't use the bottom, but I guess we'll use the open of it. Maybe that is what stopped this, whatever. Nonetheless, tomorrow should be really telling. Tomorrow is either going to go up and do better than this 613 open. Hopefully it closes over 614, or actually we might be coming to 505. We might pretty much come back to the 8 moving average, or maybe even 530, this 50 MA. Obviously, losing the 8 would mean coming down to the 20. Hopefully, we don't lose the 8 here, right? Like, we've only bounced on it a couple times, you know what I mean? So, hopefully, we still have a couple more bounces before we actually give up the 8. But, yeah, this is a super, super new, stock, right? I mean, these lines aren't the strongest. And, this is one of those things that comes with trading with something like this. Obviously, everyone's hoping for the home run, all-time high takeoff. But, yeah, that's kind of it's either that or it fails. It's really one of those two things, right? And again, I'm not putting a lot of weight on the Johns Hopkins deal. I don't think anyone's been talking about it since it's happened. Actually, I haven't seen very much news on it. And again, it's just one school. How deep are their pockets really, right? So, where's the weekly? Again, this is still a really good weekly. We're actually 2 weeks over the 8 moving average. The 8 is the only moving average here. It's a little more doji than ideal, but obviously I'm glad it's going up compared to last week, right? But yeah, I think next week again should be telling. My problem is though, we actually can drop all the way down to 370 based on this weekly, right? There's a few things between here and 370, but that's pretty much a 20 moving average at that point, right? So got to be a little extra careful on this one if you're trying to play the all-time high game. You got to at least understand that you might really quickly lose a significant percent. I was trying to do the math in my head, but I couldn't do it. But yeah, losing $2 here would suck, right? So just be careful, all right? Hey, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.